Tonight from Las Vegas, the Omaha World Championship, starring two sizzling players.
I'm hot, and people always fear the hot player.
Howard Lederer, at his fourth final table of this World Series, faces a familiar foe.
Anytime Daniel's at the table, it's going to be extra special to win.
Daniel is Daniel Negreanu, who has already won a bracelet this World Series and is ready for number 2.
I love the challenge. I love the tournament scenario. I love winning.
Daniel, Howard to Goliath, and a poker battle of biblical proportions.
Oh, thank you, Lord.
Welcome to the World Series of Poker, brought to you by Miller High Life. Coming to you from downtown Las Vegas, the Pot Limit Omaha World Championship, with the main event just around the corner. These 9 players hoping for added momentum from a win tonight. Hello again, everybody. Alongside Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Pot Limit Omaha is the game tonight with a World Championship on the line. As we've already seen, Omaha is a game that can severely test the brain cells. Well, we have no shortage of analytical minds at our final table tonight, Norm.
We have 2 of the best here tonight, Lon. Player of the Year candidates, Howard Lederer, who is known as the Professor, and Daniel Negreanu, who's not known as the Professor, but is certainly sharp enough to be at least a teaching assistant.
And there is Daniel. He won his 3rd career bracelet this year in a limit hold'em event.
There's a lot of luck in tournament poker, but it's no accident that Daniel and Howard Lederer keep making final tables. They're 2 of the best.
As is Freddie Deeb. He finished 13th in last year's main event. One of the big differences you'll see in Omaha is that the players get 4 hole cards.
Yeah, in Hold'em you get only 2. In Omaha you get 4 hole cards, but you're only allowed to use 2 of them to make your best 5-card hand with the board.
And there are a lot of subtleties at Omaha that make it so interesting. And on our Miller High Life Pocket Cam, you see all of the cards of Daniel Negreanu. He's double suited. Ace Jack is high cards, and he will come out with 22,000.
The best starting hand in Omaha is Ace, Ace, King, King, double suited. That gives you the top pairs you can have and the best flush draws you can have. And here we see Jeffrey Lisandro with a great starting hand. He has a pair of kings and his ace is suited, and he will call Daniel's bet.
Lisandro having a very strong World Series this year with a number of cashes. Freddie Deeb will fold. So we'll have Negreanu and Lisandro on the flop.
And Lisandro in command right now.
And now the flop is 3-4 ace. Negreanu has 2 pair, aces and 3s.
And that switches around to Daniel's favor with the aces up.
And remember, Lisandro can only play 2 cards from his hand, so the kings are not in play right now. His best hand is the aces with a king kicker.
50,000.
50,000 from Daniel.
Hold it.
And Jeffrey Lisandro is going to risk everything on this hand.
And a grimace from Daniel.
How much more is it?
Daniel thinking he might have overplayed his hand right now with Lisandro wanting to put all his chips in.
Well, Daniel has the advantage right now, but when somebody pushes back and goes all in for over 100,000, it makes you think twice about your hand.
Yeah, Lisandro could have a set.
You don't have a straight or anything, do you?
He could have a straight. He doesn't.
All right. Hold him.
Well, Daniel shows the 2 pair. Lisandro just with a pair of aces now. And his tournament life at stake. And now our turn card, 6 of clubs. Negreanu now with a club draw.
If Lisandro can dodge a club, a king, queen, 4, or 6 would be good enough for him. The 4 or 6 would give them both aces up, and Lisandro would have the better kicker.
Oh, and Negreanu makes his club flush and wins the hand. Jeffrey Lisandro walks away from his 3rd final table this year in 9th place.
Well, what are you going to do? Put so much money in there. 2 backdoor draws. Gamble.
Here are the Miller High Life rules for Omaha. The game is pretty much the same as Texas Hold'em, except for one big difference. Instead of being dealt 2 cards, each player receives 4 down cards. A round of betting occurs as players decide for the first time if they're in or they're out. Then 5 community cards follow, with betting after the flop, the turn, and the river. Those still in reveal their cards, but here's the catch. A player must use 2 and only 2 of their down cards, along with 3 of the community cards. And as always, the best 5-card hand wins the pot. There you see our Toyota chip count. Daniel Negreanu with a big chip lead. On most of the field, Avi Friedman second, Ted Lawson in eighth, the short stack in his first World Series of Poker. He made a final table, not bad. And there's Ted on the left. Bruno Jais next to him. And Ted will fold. Jais will kick it in as well. Now the action over to Daniel Negreanu. And you check those hole cards. You see he's got a queen high with 3 hearts, but he can only use 2 of those hearts in Omaha, of course, and he'll bet 30,000.
Yeah, so-so hand for Daniel to wander in with.
Lori Weber, Daniel's girlfriend, lending support here today at the Horseshoe. Howard Lederer will not play. Action finally over to Freddie Deeb. He's got an ace-queen in there. And he will call Daniel.
He's got a much stronger starting hand than Daniel. He's double suited, and he's drawing to a higher heart flush than Daniel is.
So it's Negreanu and Deeb on the flop, and it's big for both. They each have 2 pair. Deeb leads with the queens and jacks.
Bet the pot.
Remember, this is pot limit rather than no limit. You can bet the size of the pot at any time. Freddie's just done that.
How much you got left?
25, 38 more.
Daniel's thinking he wants to take him out. He doesn't want to stare at that shirt all afternoon. It's like driving into a sun field.
66 and 38.
Yeah.
Daniel, our chip leader right now, has a lot to play with if he wants to start pushing back.
Matt, we got a player all in.
Him or Deeb?
He's very playful. It's going to be Freddie. Freddie does go all in.
Good. I need a 10.
And Daniel can still make an inside straight by getting a 10.
Queens and 5s with a good shot.
Well, right now, Deeb is a 3-1 advantage. With the turn to come, a lot of possibilities out there and in Omaha generally. So it's 7 of spades, and that opens up a few doors.
Yeah, Daniel can now knock Freddie Deeb out with a 6 or a 10 for a straight or a 5 for a full house.
And now the river card, a 9 of spades, and Freddie Deeb will win the hand. On the graphic, you see the 2 cards fade away. The queen jack remains, showing the 2 he used to pair the board and double up on Daniel.
You scared me. Don't do that next time. You call the camera, huh? I thought you got like
Player all in.
3 queens with the king 10 of spades.
With the slow roll, dude.
Negreanu, our one-time chip leader, lost more than a third of his stack there.
That's the only hand I was worried about was queen jack.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. And in part by Harrah's Entertainment. And Levitra. Ask your doctor about it today. Levitra, when it counts.
Welcome back to this Pot Limit Omaha World Championship, event number 31 of 33 at the World Series of Poker.
Lon, we're just 1 week away from the main event.
Ted Lawson, a rookie to the World Series of Poker and to final tables, has literally, I think, woken up to a couple of aces in his 4 hole cards. And he'll bet 24,000 to Bruno Jais. A native of Paris, France, Jais has a lot of cards that connect, ace high. He calls.
Remember, Lon, and I know we went over this morning when we were in yoga, in Omaha, you use 2 cards out of your hand.
McKeever and Negreanu fold over to Howard Lederer.
Good-looking hand. Double suited, cards are reaching, straight possibilities, high cards. A very good hand to come in with, and he will call.
As much as there is to know about Omaha, everybody needs to be a professor of poker like Howard Lederer. So we got the rest of the table folding. The flop comes, and Lawson in the lead. He's got his 2 aces and an ace-high flush draw.
To me, bet the pot.
Once he knew it was to him, he knew what he wanted to do, and he will bet the pot.
And he'll push in 90,000 chips. Next to act will be Bruno Jais, who acts by throwing his cards away. Now to Howard Lederer.
When I grow up, Lon, I want to be like Howard Lederer, but without the angst. He calls Ted Lawson's bet.
And the turn is a 2 of spades, no help to either player. And Lawson with a 3-1 advantage now. He checks.
Howard needs to pair any one of his cards, as long as it's not a heart, to win this hand.
Well, Howard's going to put the screws now to Lawson and make him make a decision.
And the decision would be for all his chips. He would be going all in.
Howard, man, you're really doing it to me, buddy. And I got a hand here. I definitely got the winner. If in fact, can I say what I have and stuff? Will you let us say that?
Not allowed.
Say a word on nothing.
This is only Lawson's third tournament ever, and clearly he doesn't know all the rules.
Yeah, this is gonna be one for the ages here.
Don't show your cards.
You're not allowed to expose your cards until you go all in, which he does.
And Howard sees the bad news now.
Well, you got a lot of outs still.
I don't have a lot of them.
9-10 jack.
Yeah. Or queen.
Yeah, he's got a lot of outs, but so did Butch Cassidy, and look what happened to him.
River card to 6, not going to do it for Howard.
Good hand. What you got?
Ted Lawson will win the hand with the 2 aces, and he doubles up on the professor. Living in imminent danger of being ousted, Ted Lawson now thriving at this final table.
I was down to no chips. I can't believe it, really. What kind of a game is this, anyway?
A game where truly anyone can win.
Daniel showing the effects of playing a 24 World Series event so far, but by doing so and playing well, he's atop the Toyota Player of the Year leaderboard.
For the Player of the Year, I basically locked up the lead right now going into the final event, and that's been my goal the entire month. Yes! I love playing all the games. I'm not just a no-limit Golden player, and I pride myself on being able to play all the games well. It's a true test of overall skill and overall ability. Anybody can win one tournament, but to be the guy who has the best overall month, now that's an accomplishment. My turn! I was asked the question, how much money would it take for you to quit poker for life? I can't come up with a number. I mean, if you said for life. It's something I really love to do, I'm good at, I love competition. I wanted to be a hockey player, basketball player, too short for the NBA, too skinny for the NHL. I'm left with poker, this is all I got. And he sees this.
And he uses it very well, Norm.
Yeah, it's amazing how disciplined he is at such a young age.
We got him right where we want him.
Some gallows humor there between the 2 short-stacked players.
George McKeever sitting next to one of the stars in the game, Daniel Negreanu, and they are sharing a similar-sized stack.
No adjustment to your TV set necessary. That is the natural color of that shirt.
Ted Lawson now checking his cards. He's got a couple of 7s and a queen high.
That's a very modest hand, Lon, and I'm being polite. I don't want to insult the cards.
And he'll push in 12,000. Over to Bruno Jais. And his 4-hole cards, he's got 2 8s and an ace-king.
He'll come in.
So now the action over to Daniel Negreanu. Checks his hole cards. He's got a couple of 2s and an ace-6 suited. And he will make the call. Howard Lederer next in line. And Howard with a couple of 3s.
Rags.
He does what you do with rags, throw them in. Avi Friedman now.
Rags.
Well, we'll take anything for him to play. He's in the big blind. He gets to see the flop for free. There will be 4 going to the flop. And it will be Negreanu and Jais picking up aces and 3s.
But Howard's got a why me look. If he had stayed, he would have made 4 3s, turning his rags into riches.
Now that hurts. Avi Friedman will check. Next in line to act is, just behind the cards there. You saw Ted Lawson will check with his 7s and 3s. Now Bruno Jais bets 20,000. He's got aces and 3s, as we mentioned, to Negreanu.
Daniel knows any hand he plays may be the last hand he plays, so he's got to figure out whether he wants to do it right here.
He's got the lower kicker as compared to Jais. And Daniel will go all in with 9,000 chips that he's got left. And Lori Weber, his girlfriend, maybe warming up the car.
Yeah, he's making eye contact with her, letting him know. Bring it around.
Avi Friedman folds, as does Lawson.
I'm in trouble.
I folded quads, by the way.
Oh, no,
I was
wanted
going to
a
ask
3.
you that. You had 2 3s?
I wanted a 3.
3-3 Jack 9.
I wanted a 3. That was one of my outs. Okay, I need a 6. I did have outs. 6 or a deuce. I just wanted some outs.
A 6 would give him higher 2 pair, and the 2 would give him 3 of a kind.
Turn cards 5 of clubs.
Or a 4.
And a 4 would give Daniel a straight and keep him alive.
And now the river card, a 5 of spades. It's not going to do it for Daniel Negreanu. He will go away in 8th place. He's already won 1 championship bracelet this year. His only other chance will be in the main event coming up very shortly.
It's amazing he hasn't worn down playing all the tournaments he has, and you got to figure him as one of the favorites in that main event.
Daniel will take home $45,000 today for 8th place.
Well, that officially sucked.
Nothing like a little consolation to ease your heartache. Welcome back to the Horseshoe and the Pot Limit Omaha World Championship. $5,000 was the buy-in. Action out of George McKeever, who finished in 7th place at the 99 main event. He has an ace high with a couple of diamonds. And George is going to put everything he has into the pot, $18,000. Now over to Howard Lederer, who's getting short stacked as well. He's got 2 queens and he's double suited.
I think he has a sense of frustration. He's made nearly 20 final tables at the World Series over the years and can't really get a whole lot going at most of them.
Avi Friedman is at his first final table at a World Series. He's got a pair of 8s. And he will call as well. Now over to Freddie Deeb, the human test pattern. And Deeb with some connecting cards, but he's in the big blind.
So just 6,000 more to play with that hand, and he will come in.
So we have 4 players going to the flop. And it comes out king, 3, 7, 2 spades. Howard Lederer in the lead with a pair of kings and a flush draw.
Check.
Freddie Deeb checked. Avi checked before him with McKeever all in. Howard's next to act.
And Howard's got to like that flop. He got a piece of it with the high pair and with the spade draw.
And Howard moving all in, $46,000 with that hand. And Avi Friedman will fold his kings.
Freddie's trying to decide whether to make a loose call here.
Well, I hope you don't have a flush draw.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I got 3 spades in my hand.
Well, Deeb has a pair of 7s, and he has a gut shot straight draw. And if he gets really lucky, he can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone.
Look at this.
5, 6, 7, 9, 4.
How can I be in that good shape? Okay.
Typical Omaha. So many possibilities out there on the table.
I'm glad fractions aren't involved.
And now the turn card, and Freddie Deeb got his straight with a 5.
I got it straight.
So McKeever's drawing dead, and he is eliminated. And Lederer now would need a spade on the river to beat Deeb and stay alive in the tournament.
He does not like his chances. And now the turn card closes the book on 2 players. Freddie Deeb wins the hand. George McKeever eliminated in 7th place. Howard Lederer, the professor, in 6th place. He had more chips at the start of the hand, so he gets the better position, and he'll win $75,000.
And Howard looking back briefly at the wreckage.
Freddie Deeb in the magic shirt eliminates 2 players.
Thank you. Oh, you like that?
Good luck charms come in all forms and fashions. Freddie's is taking on a life of its own. In 2003, Freddie Deeb was involved in one of the more memorable hands of the World Series of Poker. Trailing Phil Ivey's 3 7s, Deeb caught his own set of kings on the turn.
All right, baby. When I beat him that hand, I got a little excited. Send it, baby.
All right, relax, relax.
He just didn't like it, and he said,
Must be the shirt.
he just made fun of the shirt. It'll become a famous shirt anyway. Everybody keep asking me about the shirt. Even people that I've never seen in my life in towns that I've never been to. If you're still here tomorrow, I'll loan you the shirt, and I'll wear another one.
You might have to pay me something.
So now I'm just gonna put it on today on the final table.
Freddie Deeb and his pet shirt sitting this one out right now. Action underway already. Avi Friedman is all in with 100,000 chips. He holds a straight draw. Ted Lawson right now has a diamond draw and a pair of 10s, deciding whether or not to call.
If you call, just say I call. You call?
I want to know how much you got.
Oh, okay.
You never like being all in just on a draw, and that is Avi's position right now.
100,000.
100,000.
Ted Lawson calls it.
Nut flush draw, pair of 10s.
So Avi's looking for a straight. An ace, 9, or 8 would be good enough. Lawson has the better diamond draw, so if a diamond comes out, Avi would be dead in this tournament.
Ted Lawson wants the short stack.
No diamonds.
And now he's in a position to knock out Avi Friedman, and a 6 of hearts comes out on the turn.
Well, besides trying to make a straight, Avi would also win the hand if he could make a queen or a jack on the river.
He doesn't do it. 10 of hearts, Lawson wins the hand.
Yeah, baby.
Nice spot.
Yeah, man.
Avi Friedman will walk away from this championship table in 5th place. And Ted Lawson, who has the least amount of tournament experience of any player at this championship table, is our chip leader.
The World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life. Omaha.
Welcome back to this Omaha Championship, and you see our Toyota chip count. Ted Lawson atop the field, all the way down to Freddie Deeb in 4th place, a short stack, if you can call 270,000 short. Ted Lawson, nicknamed the chairman because he's actually a chairman of the board of a company down in Florida. And you look at his hand, he's got a couple of aces in there, 3 clubs, but he can only use 2 of those clubs, Norm.
That is correct, but the key is that he has the 2 aces right now, and you always push aces before the flop, and he bets 16,000.
Over to Bruno Jais from Paris, France, and he's got an ace high, but a couple of diamonds in there. Jais usually has a rooting section with him, but his wife about to give birth to twins. He will call the bet from Lawson. Freddie Deeb, next to act. You love that hand, Norm, don't you?
Yeah, we've seen this a couple times today. Double suited, high connectors.
I'm gonna raise it.
It is a raising hand. Remember, he can only use 2 of those cards, as we've mentioned.
22 more.
22,000 is the raise from Freddie Deeb. Watkinson folds to Lawson.
Bet the pot.
And that is the correct move. In Omaha, when you've got the high pair, you want to push it, make others who might have a draw drop out of the hand.
And Bruno Jais does just that.
With aces, you want to try to go heads up. You don't want a whole lot of people drawing at you, so Lawson did the right thing.
I can't make it any more expensive.
Sorry?
I can't.
If this were no limit, he might push it all in.
Yeah, this is pot limit, though. You can only bet the size of the pot, which can be quite large.
I couldn't help myself but raise it. I don't know. I should have just called it, but maybe not. We'll find out after the flop.
Does Freddie think he backed himself into a corner?
Yeah, correct, because now he's committed to the pot. Now he's got to put more in, and he doesn't like it.
And now the flop. Freddie gets a pair of jacks and a bunch of straight draws.
He's going to like it plenty now.
All right, I'm all in.
He now can go all in. The pot is big enough.
It changed very quickly.
101.
To Lawson.
Freddie.
Lawson's still ahead with the aces, but the odds are in Deeb's favor now.
This is it, huh, Freddie?
Well, this is it.
This could make you the chip leader.
You can hear the OK Corral music in the background.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm in. Aces. Aces.
But those are naked aces. And let me tell you, Lon, why Freddie has just got the Cirque du Soleil of draws here. He can make a straight with an ace, king, or 8. He can make 2 pair with a 10 or a 9. If he gets a jack, he'll have 3 jacks. I'm not lying to you.
And Freddie gets it straight.
King!
Oh, Freddie shows how you crack aces in Omaha.
He's drawing dead now.
Lawson is indeed drawing dead. You see the 2 cards fade away, and that leaves a 10 and 9 that Deeb used for a straight to win the hand. And Freddie Deeb has doubled up and has become the chip leader. Ted Lawson takes a huge hit.
Yeah, it looks like Freddie has the angel on his shoulder tonight.
Freddie, that was a good hand, buddy. Nice hand.
Thank you.
Though I don't know why an angel would want to be on that shoulder.
Freddie's shirt has brought him a lot of luck through the years. He is now over $500,000 in his chips. Ted Lawson may be hoping that his shirt will bring him some more luck tonight. In this week's edition of The Nuts, Poker Fashion.
What is poker fashion? Good question.
Poker fashion really isn't very fashionable.
That's not saying much when you say I'm the best dressed man in poker. It's like, wow, thanks.
Your typical old-time poker player has to appear to be at least 15 months pregnant in an overly tight golf shirt.
Fat kid got lucky. That's all I can say.
You know, sometimes you sit next to somebody, they've been playing for 3 days, they stink. They spend so much money, and they still wear the same shirt.
Typical cheesy poker fashion would be like the poker hat, the sunglasses.
You have to stand out in the crowd.
Shovel up and deal. Come on, let's go.
And to do that, you have to wear bright colors.
I love clothes. I feel good when I dress nice.
My focus is on the cards and the players, and I really don't notice what they're wearing.
Perhaps if he wins this tournament, they'll take Freddie Deeb's shirt to the Poker Hall of Fame.
Wow, Freddie's wife and ex-wife sitting together. I'm impressed, Lon. It must be the shirt.
Well, the magic continues. We pick up this next hand in progress on the river. Deeb leads with 3-8. Jais is alive with 2 pair, but barely. Ted Lawson drawing dead. He also had 2 pair, but no chances. And here comes the river card. It is a 5 of diamonds, and you see the check mark by Deeb's name shows he's got the best hand.
Meanwhile, Ted Lawson has made a smaller full house, 5s over 8s.
Now Bruno Jais is first to act, and he will check over to Freddie Deeb with the monster hand.
Since everybody had checked on the flop and everyone had checked on the turn, Freddie Deeb's got to figure he's got the best hand right now. It's just a question of how many chips he wants to bet. He does have the best hand, as we know.
And Freddie will bet the pot, 48,000. Over to Lawson.
Problem in Omaha, when you start with a small pair, you might make your full house, but someone else makes a bigger full house.
Bet the pot.
He bets the pot with his full house, but it's just a little bungalow. Meanwhile, Freddie's got a split level with a backyard.
I made a big hand. I guess whatever you checked was good, if you have it. If you have it, you're not bluffing. Because I made a full house and I'm calling.
Me too. 5's over. Full house. 5s and 8s.
That's not good. 8's full of 5s.
Freddie says that's no good. 8's full of 5s.
Freddie.
Oh, Freddie is right. And all the wives love it.
Louder, louder.
Deeb takes another huge stack from Lawson.
Oh, my God. Hey, Freddie, I have nightmares about you. My God.
Welcome back to the Omaha World Championship. Bruno Jais has just been knocked out by Lee Watkinson. Jais finishes in 4th place with $120,000. Watkinson's tight play so far has allowed him to remain in contention for a bracelet. Interestingly enough, 2 of our finalists had similar college experiences. Both Watkinson and tablemate Ted Lawson were members of their college wrestling teams. An unlikely background for playing poker. What are the odds of that?
I was the captain of the wrestling team both in high school and college. I was one of the best wrestlers at my weight in the country.
I wrestled in college.
Nice shot, Lee.
Probably the first time I played poker was at a wrestling camp in high school.
You work really hard, you put the time and the effort in, you can achieve almost anything that you want.
Yeah, man, yeah!
Wrestling requires a lot of discipline, and so does poker.
Wrestling was my first love, and I put a lot of hard work and effort into that. I'm doing the same thing with poker.
More chips.
I expect to win some of these tournaments.
3-handed now at our championship table, and on our Toyota chip count, Freddie Deeb fully in control. More chips than the other 2 players combined. Lee Watkinson in 3rd place. He'll try to wrestle some more chips away from the other gentleman at the table. Watkinson looks at his hole cards on the Miller High Life Pocket Cam. He has a king high and some connectors.
We've seen him a couple of times here at final tables, yet I feel like I hardly know him, Lon.
Now to Ted Lawson, and he's looking at 2 8s and a spade possibility, and he will call. Freddie Deeb now.
This is the one game where you don't want to see 3 of a kind in your hand. You can only use 2 cards in Omaha of the 4, so that's a wasted jack in there. But in the big blind, he sees the flop for free.
And the flop comes down. Lawson has a straight draw. Watkinson picks up another 10. Lawson checks.
Freddie delighted not to put any more money in, and then Watkinson also checks.
And the turn card, Watkinson now picks up a third 10. He's in command.
That is the jackpot for Lee Watkinson. No help for the other 2 players. Lawson checked.
Now to Freddie Deeb.
Oops. Wow, he's getting a little creative there. He's got cards that someone on death row wouldn't play.
40,000 from Deeb. Watkinson comes right over the top.
Oh, sure. Freddie was trying to bluff In this game, you need cards. In Hold'em, you can have a little moxie. In Omaha, you usually need cards.
Raise.
There's some moxie.
Whatever he has left.
He does have an up and down straight draw.
I'm sorry.
It's like a semi-bluff, I guess.
What?
How much you want to raise? I'm over here too. So you want to raise?
I'm sorry. Hold it.
Freddie's being meddlesome, but when it comes over to him, I can't tell you how fast he's going to want to fold his hand.
Okay. That's what I'll raise, 100,000.
As we mentioned, Ted Lawson, new to tournament play, still ironing out the wrinkles.
Freddie folds and Lee goes all in.
No straight.
Lawson says he's got a straight.
No, I don't think so. And neither does Freddie Deep. If he's got a straight, this game's crooked. There's not a straight draw on the board right now, so he can't have a straight. I may be a sucker, but that much I know.
Watkinson and Freddie Deeb and the dealer know what's going on, but it's not their place to tell Ted right now.
But all the chips are in. They could tell him, but nobody's telling him. You're right.
And now it's a 2 of hearts. Lee Watkinson has won the hand with 3 tens. But Ted doesn't believe it still.
You don't have the straight yet. You thought you had the straight, right?
7, 8, 9, 10. You're right. You know what?
You thought you had the straight.
Just called my...
I know.
Oh my God.
I know what you thought. You thought you already have the straight, but you don't have it.
If Ted Lawson were a baseball player, he'd be wearing a Red Sox uniform in the World Series 1986, and his name would be Bill Buckner.
Ay.
A critical misread by Ted Lawson.
What am I thinking? Oh my God.
The Toyota Points Leader is brought to you by Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized.
By virtue of his 8th place finish here today, Daniel Negreanu is back in first place. On our Toyota leaderboard, Howard Lederer moves up a spot to 5th place. Absent from the leaderboard is Chris Moneymaker, who played in day 1 of this Pot Limit Omaha tournament. Last year's main event champion has played a limited schedule and has yet to win any money until now.
Guess I'm going home.
He finished 10th in this Omaha World Championship. Perhaps Moneymaker is peaking at the right time with the main event just around the corner. Chris Moneymaker eliminates Sam Farha and is atop the poker world. After his improbable journey last year, Chris Moneymaker became the most famous name in poker. And this year, he will try to do the near impossible, repeat as poker world champion.
I'm pumped up to play. This is the tournament. This is it.
2 of the men marking Moneymaker will be the ones who came closest to beating him last year. Sam Farha with his trademark unlit cigarette and former champion Dan Harrington are both back hoping for more.
It's all about survival.
3 other former champions are trying for the title and each his record 10th bracelet.
That is how you measure poker greatness.
But if the World Series has taught us anything this year, it's that the veterans should look out for the young guns. Players under 25 have been bringing home the bracelets.
Yes!
Particularly one crew.
We own the World Series of Poker.
Led by 2-time winner Scott Fishman. And as much as youth has been served this year, so too have the women roared.
Yeah, 23-year-olds and women.
Kathy Liebert won her first bracelet yesterday.
3 women have won a championship this year, including Annie Duke. Yet no woman has ever won the main event. Annie would love to change that.
That's what it is for a poker player, is to win the World Series.
As usual, all the masters of the game will be battling for poker supremacy.
I wanted number 1 so bad.
But a record 2,500 people are expected to compete for number 1. And the $5 million cash prize is the biggest in poker, sports, or television history. Cha-ching! Only one event left, the main event.
All right, see you guys tomorrow.
The main event in 1 week from today. Norm, you found the ATMs for your entry fee?
I have people on the street that can provide me with the cash I need. Thank you.
Finished 13th in that main event last year, and he's looking at Queen Jack.
And we're still looking at that shirt. Trust me, if you got a black and white TV today, you're ahead of the game.
90,000.
Freddie D bets 90,000 to Lee Watkinson. Watkinson with 2 kings.
Pretty good looking cards in a short-handed game. He's got a club flush possibility.
I raised the pot, the size of the pot.
And Lee Watkinson is going to raise it, 210,000.
Ted Lawson looking hard and long at his cards. He still might be trying to find that straight.
Back to Freddie Deeb now. Big decision.
I think Freddie is probably going to be gone.
How much more you got?
245.
All right, well.
Wow. Freddie's putting a lot of chips at risk with a very marginal hand, Lon.
So now we're going to go to the flop with Deeb and Watkinson. It comes queen, 4, 7, Deeb with a pair of queens and a spade draw. Watkinson still with his kings.
I'm all in.
Well, Watkinson will go all in, but that flop hit Freddie really good.
I call.
So Deeb calls, and Watkinson's tournament life will be at stake.
Now Deeb turns over his queens. Even though he has a smaller pair, he's got a much better draw and the advantage.
Why you call me with that before the flop?
I've got to sympathize with Watkinson right there. He just doesn't understand how Freddie could put so many chips in before the flop with the hand he had.
And the turn card is a 4 of clubs.
Freddie knows that hurt him now because even if he makes 2 pair, he can't beat Watkinson's 2 pair, so Freddie's going to need a queen or a spade to knock out Watkinson.
And here comes the river card. It is a 6. Lee Watkinson's kings and 4s wins the hand. Our first $1 million pot. Freddie Deeb is crippled.
I never thought I'd survive that one.
And Freddie Deeb will send over 3/4 of his chips to Lee Watkinson.
Freddie made his own bet on that one, Lon, and now he's lying on it without much of a blanket.
What the hell?
Lee Watkinson is our new chip leader at this championship table. Freddie Deeb, not much to play with. So our Toyota chip count shows Lee Watkinson with over 1 million chips. Freddie Deeb, 170,000.
Poor Freddie. He looks as unhappy as Louis De Palma did during the entire course of Taxi.
Now Lee Watkinson, while he's got better things to do with all those chips, he'll fold over to Ted Lawson, the rookie at the table, looking at an ace-high hand. And he'll call the big blind to Freddie.
And Freddie now looks at a ragtag group of cards. He's already in the big blind, so he can play for free at this point.
And here comes the flop. It is ace, 3, jack, and Lawson with a pair of aces. Deeb a straight draw. And Ted Lawson will bet. It'll be 60,000 to Freddie.
Freddie's saying, I don't got many chips left. Do I want to keep going here with a straight draw only?
Oh, it's interesting. And Lee Watkinson happy to be out of this hand because these two guys came in with similar low stacks.
The chip leader loves to watch the short stacks try to knock each other out. And Freddie takes that first fateful step. He needs to make this straight.
Now the turn card, 8 of diamonds. Lawson now with aces and 8s.
Yeah, heads up. That's got to look pretty good to him.
Lawson double checking his cards, make sure he has the aces and 8s. And now he'll push a bet.
And he'll put out enough chips to put Freddie Deeb all in if Freddie wishes to call. And you see the expression on Deeb's face. It's between a rock and a hard place for Freddie at this point. If he's going all in, he's going all in just on a draw.
I guess I'm gonna go broke.
He's gonna do it.
Aces and 8s.
Yeah, I got deuce, 4, 5. I'm gonna draw.
Yeah, Freddie Deeb looking for a 2, 4, or 5 to make a straight. And I hope all those wives are already taken care of.
So Freddie Deeb has perhaps one card left in this championship. He's been a very powerful player. Once our chip leader, it's an ace, and Lawson improves on every turn of the card. He has a full house and eliminates Freddie Deeb.
Freddie went from penthouse to outhouse in a heartbeat, Lon.
Hey, Lee. Lee, we did that?
No.
We took him out?
No, I thought he was just going to grind us to...
Nobody in this room can believe this World Series rookie knocked out the veteran Freddie Deeb.
I could have played different earlier. I gave the guy too much credit, the guy in the 2 seat. I could have had him gone a long time ago. Just things didn't work out, but next time, you know.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. And in part by Harrah's Entertainment and the Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized.
Welcome back to the Pot Limit Omaha World Championship. We are about to go heads up. Lee Watkinson and Ted Lawson, two former wrestlers with very different playing styles, each looking for their first World Championship bracelet.
I'm a numbers person. I'm very analytical, and that gives me an advantage.
Yeah, man.
I just play by feeling.
Oh, Oh my God.
Good call. Go with my gut. Not very good at math.
The truth of it is, I expect to win.
He's back.
I'm not guaranteeing I'm gonna win or anything, but I like my chances. They're all in.
I really want to become one of the best poker players on the planet. So far, so good.
This is a huge contrast. Lee Watkinson plays very tight and solid, and Ted Lawson is a 54-year-old tournament rookie who describes his play as fearless.
Watkinson now with 2 aces, and they're both suited.
That is a monster starting hand, particularly heads up. Double suited with a pair of aces. You wait days to see that.
Lee Watkinson makes it 90,000. Ted Lawson now with an ace-jack.
He's in the big blind. He's already in for 30,000.
He'll have to put more money in, though, to play.
Well, he's double suited, so it's a pretty good hand.
90,000. 60 more to me.
If Lawson ever learns the betting structures and the nuances, he might get himself a 3-month guest pass with the crew.
Well, Lawson is one of many newbies to do well at this year's World Series of Poker. And now the flop, and it's huge for Lawson, a full house.
Are you kidding me? Jack's full. Watkinson actually got a good flop to a flush. Wow, Lawson checks it, correctly slow playing his hand.
Well, Lee Watkinson checks right behind Lawson. And now the turn card, 10 of hearts.
Which makes Watkinson his ace-high flush. That's not good enough, though. But if he makes a queen of hearts on the river, he's got a royal flush.
Or if he makes a river ace, that gives him a better full house than Lawson.
Check.
Lawson checks, and I don't know if he's confused or just being cagey. Remember, he thought he had a straight when he didn't. Maybe he doesn't know he has a full house right now. Or maybe he's just being very sneaky smart. He has induced Lee Watkinson to bet.
And 85,000 from Watkinson.
Call.
And Lawson will call it.
Remember, Lee has 2 miracle outs. An ace gives him a better full house, and the queen of hearts would give him a royal flush.
And now the river card, a 4 of clubs, no miracle card for Lee Watkinson. Ted Lawson's jacks full holds up.
And Lawson's taking a long time here to decide how to act with the jacks full. Oh, he knows he has a full house.
Lawson bets the pot.
I call.
Full house, jacks over 9s.
And Ted Lawson takes $1 million pot.
And Watkinson is blindsided. How could he ever see that coming? Lawson played it like he's been doing it for years in a smoky back room.
Lee Watkinson took a huge hit, losing about 2/3 of his chips over to Ted Lawson. And the first blow in this heads-up match goes to the rookie.
Boy, we have seen Ted Lawson misread his hand, be confused on bets, not understand tournament rules. And now I'm thinking, maybe he's hustling us.
It does seem unlikely that considering the strength of the field, Lawson's in position to be a world champion.
Early in the morning.
Everybody's sleeping.
I'm just going to drag this out until you go to sleep.
The old wrestling sleeper hold coming from Lee Watkinson. And a look at the hole cards of Ted Lawson, just a bunch of connectors.
That's a motley collection of connectors.
He'll put in 20,000 to call the big blind. Over to Lee Watkinson. He's got a king high with a jack behind it.
And another run-of-the-mill set of cards that he will just check and see the flop for free.
So Watkinson in the lead with a king high, the flop, and that gives Lawson 2 pair 8s and 4s with a flush draw.
And heads up, that's a pretty looking hand for Ted Lawson.
Lee Watkinson with a pair of 4s and a lot of work to do. He'll bet 80,000. You may notice the blue chips, those are worth 10,000 each now.
What I've noticed, he's bet a bunch of chips on a hand that is pretty much of an ugly duckling.
Ted Lawson wants to bet.
Bet all of it, whatever it is. What is it?
Well, as usual, he needs a bet assistant.
What does he have left?
Or a bet sommelier.
You're raising, right?
Yeah, raising.
He's got a big hammer, though. And this would put Watkinson all in.
And his hand has a pretty bleak future. I don't know if he wants to put all his chips in for what right now is just a pair of 4s with no real draw. And those cards cannot look any better than they did the first time.
And Watkinson will call it.
I got 8s and 4s with the flush.
You got me in trouble.
He is in trouble. He's a 4-1 dog right now.
And now the turn card. The ace of clubs gives Lee a straight draw.
Lee needs a 2, king, or jack, but none of them can be a heart. And if he doesn't improve, Ted Lawson will be our Pot Limit Omaha world champion.
Ted Lawson, anxiously awaiting that river card. Can this rookie be a world champion? Yes, he can! Ted Lawson has found a way to beat the best players in the world, and this first-timer is a World Series of Poker champion.
He's not as experienced as some of the other players that went out early. He showed a lot of heart staying in there, and he earned it.
So an improbable journey comes to an unlikely conclusion for Ted Lawson.
Wow.
This is your first tournament at the World Series and only your third tournament overall. Did you feel like you might be in over your head, or you thought it might be your day?
Well, the truth of it is, I expect to win. This was just absolutely incredible. It's absolutely amazing. It's amazing. I'm exhilarated and tired and ready to party. Yeah!
For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarron. See you next time from the World Series of Poker.
Wow.